debate. Or if you...
I give back my right of reply to add to other speakers.
Well, you're characteristically generous, and that's noted. Jessica Morton.
The opportunity to take part in today's timely debate on the increasingly desperate humanitarian situation in Nagorno-Karabakh, which has now entered its 44th day. And I congratulate the Honourable Member for East Worthing and Shoreham for leading this debate and for his excellent speech. He's a hard act to follow there, and I'll do my best in 4.5 minutes. But thank him for the attention he's drawn to the plight of the population in Artsakh. People there are under siege, they can't travel, they're cut off from food, medical and other vital supplies, and still enduring energy blackouts in the depth of what is a harsh winter. And can I join the Honourable Member in condemning the blockade by Azerbaijan and asking for the UK Government to do all it can to help with the diplomatic leaders it has. For the people of Nagorno-Karabakh have the right to live freely and independently, and it would be good to hear from the Minister today what measures, apart from strongly worded statements, the Government are willing to take to work with others to end the blockade and to resolve the issues by diplomatic and peaceful means. Can I also declare an interest as a member of the All-Party Group and a member of the APPG delegation that went to Yerevan last year, and I refer to my register of members' interest. And as part of that delegation, as the Honourable Member has mentioned, we met and listened to refugees first-hand from Nagorno-Karabakh, which I know will have had an impact on all of us, and it certainly did on me. And it was a real reminder of the human cost of this decades-long pattern of hostility and conflict between Azerbaijan and Armenia. As my honourable friend has said, this small and landlocked region has been disputed for decades, with animosity boiling over on a regular basis since the early 1990s, and with the descent into full-scale violence and hundreds of deaths in September 2020. The trilateral ceasefire agreed later that year now feels incredibly fragile, with the lifeline guaranteed by the agreement now violated. The current blockade of the corridor by Azerbaijan from the 12th of December, the only passage between Nagorno-Karabakh and Armenia, has severed the only lifeline the Artsakh Armenians have to the outside world. That's 120,000 Armenians now encircled and isolated. Claims the road blockade is being initiated by environmental activists. They are the claims, but most feel its intended effect is to isolate the population from Armenia. As the Honourable Member has said, the blockade is an escalation of the cutting off of the gas supply during a freezing winter last year, a move that's been repeated last month and impacts some 80% of the population who have their homes supplied with gas. This is also in the depths of winter, with temperatures dropping below -5 yesterday, with schools and nurseries forced to close and hospitals struggling to operate. The blockade has left families separated, most patients unable to travel to treatment in Yerevan, a shortage of medical supplies, no hot running water. And also, as UNICEF have highlighted, children in the region are among the most especially impacted, with parental separation and a lack of access to vital services. All this comes after 30 years in which the Lachin Corridor has been open and functioning despite bitter tensions, but not now. The timing of the power blockouts, coupled with the blockade, feels designed to cause the greatest amount of human suffering possible during the winter months to force a desired political outcome. Like other honourable members, I'd be keen to hear from the Minister today what role this government will play in joining other countries in their condemnation. And of course it's important that persecution and terrorisation of the Armenian Christian population is met with a united international condemnation, but it's also important that the UK government uses its leverage as a close diplomatic trading partner of Azerbaijan in this instance. So it would be keen to hear about the release of Armenian prisoners of war and civilian hostages and what the government's view is on that. Also be good to know what discussions the government's had about working with other countries on the logistics of an airlift, and whether the government's supportive of the EU's joint motion on the blockade made last Wednesday, and to understand really the government's position in terms of the Caucasus. Finally, it was a real privilege to be part of the delegation to Armenia last year, and coming from Wales, it's hard not to feel an affinity with another small, proud and mountainous country of 3 million people. And links between Wales and Armenia are long established, and the Armenian Genocide Memorial at the Temple of Peace in Cardiff was in fact the first of its kind in the UK. It's been a pleasure to meet members of the Armenian community in South Wales who feel a really strong strong connection with their ancestral home. And when you speak to Armenians and the Armenian diaspora, you can't help but be struck by their deep longing for peace, a burning desire informed by tragic history. And it is understandable then that the Armenian people are more alert than most to when intolerance and violence where it can lead, unless a light is shone upon it while there is still time. And this is such a moment, and the international community has a duty to do all it can now to work towards peace.